afternoon, my good people. Welcome back to the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show. This is our second week back live. We took a little break, been off for a couple months, as a matter of fact. We got our guest today, none other than Mr. Dee Stevens. Mr. Stevens will be joining us here in just a few moments. But I want to certainly welcome you all back to the show. Thank you all for joining me again. Thank you for tuning in. I got a lot of feedback on the show and where it's been and what's been going on. One of the persons that I definitely want to give a special shout out to is my man, Dwight Glasgow. Ran into him over the weekend. He said, he's missed the show and it's been a great inspiration to him. So I definitely want to be sure I always do what I can to contribute to the real estate investing world and the things that we do and help people understand the ups and downs and ins and outs of what we do in this world of real estate investing. That's why this is the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show, where we do talk about real life real estate situations, but we certainly bring you real life real estate solutions. And again, I'm none other than your host, Glenn Glass, but affectionately known as Mr. Dollar Out of a Dime. And we're going to be bringing our guest on here in just a moment. So hang tight with me. All right, folks, we're back. Looks like we got our guest with us. We're going to have him jump on here in just a minute. But I want to do a real quick introduction. Our guest, again, is none other than my man, Dee Stevens. Dee is somebody who I've been following for some time, got a ton of respect for. He's going to be sharing with us some great information today. We're going to talk about the 3 F's. Now, some of you have asked the question, what are the 3 F's? But he's going to dive real deep into that and let us know what that is exactly and how these things are very important to us running our business. So without any further ado, we're going to bring on Mr. Dee Stevens. Brother D, what's happening?
Hey, what's up, bud? How you doing?
Great. Listen, man, I'm excited to have you on today, bro. I got to tell the folks, man. So we connected some time ago, man. I think we shared the stage on someone else's show that they had. And, we shared some insights and information. But I've been following you for some time, man. I got to tell you, bro, some of the posts I see you have me on the floor, man.
Yeah, man. I like to really just have fun with my life,
yes,
business and things like that. Because I know a lot of times, especially from our generation, we're taught if you're a CEO or a business owner, or if you make a lot of money, you got to be a certain way in this box, and you have to act a certain way. You got to wear a suit and tie every day because that's a reflection of what wealth is and what success is.
Yeah.
And when you get to the other side of what you realize what success is, you realize all that stuff that you were taught was really cap. I mean, it has nothing to do with success, right? Now, It does have something to do with, obviously, your image, right?
Definitely. Yeah.
So depending on your audience and who you're targeting, depending on which route you may want to go with that. Me, I'm more of a laid-back kind of guy. I like to have fun. I like to, make money and really add value into other people's lives. So for me, I just be me. I like people who are authentically themselves, who are genuine, good or bad, and just take it in, take it all in.
Real stuff, man. I was actually looking at one of the posts that I was gonna pull up, where I think it was something you said about. I can't remember what it was, man. I was laughing at it this morning. I can't remember exactly what it was, but so many things that you just shared with us, man, is true. Now that's something that for me, image is, I won't say everything, but it's a very important part of me sharing who I am and what I do.
Oh yeah.
And I'm old school. I was taught, traditional way that you mentioned. Image is everything. You got to show up a certain way and be a certain way to attract a certain kind of people. But image became my thing because of honestly where I'm from. I'm from Detroit, man. We
man, you from the D. Oh, you man, you gotta shine, brother. You gotta shine, baby.
Right.
You gotta say, that's all you have to say.
Right.
The D, that's it, man.
So
That's
we
it,
like to
man.
show up with a little flash and pizzazz and all that, So that's just innately in me, But I do get it though. I mean, like you said,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
many
yeah.
things that are happening now in the world of business, not just real estate, but in the world of business in and of itself, does tell you that it doesn't require you to uh, have this polished image, we'll call it, to be able
Right.
to be someone that could, do something great. I mean, there's so many examples. We can name several of them. So tell me the thing about, and I want to kind of hone in on what we're talking about. Many people may, the one or two people that may watch this don't know who you are. I want to kind of have them understand where we are in this conversation. So some of your posts are very, I'll call them humorous and enlightening,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
you
yeah.
do have a point to them.
Oh yeah.
You always hashtag investor tip. Get a coach or get a mentor. So you always make the point of putting those things in there. Tell
Yeah.
me what's behind those hashtags or what's behind those points. Of course, you make humorous points, but you
Yeah, yeah.
want people to understand that it's necessary for them to have someone to teach them how to do what they're doing. Tell me what else
Uh,
is behind that.
because the thing is, you got to meet people where they're at, right? And like for a lot of people who are successful, we don't need to tell them to get a coach, get a mentor. You need to read a whole bunch of books, things like that, because
Right.
that's just common knowledge. If you look behind your books, behind you, there's a bookshelf of books, right?
Definitely,
I'm on.
absolutely,
I'm
absolutely.
exactly. I'm out on a job site on the flip we doing here in Atlanta, and so you don't see my bookshelf behind me in my office at the house, right? But if you saw behind me, it'd be tons of books, right? So I don't need to tell people like you to do it. But what
Mhm.
the thing is, historically in this country, a lot of people, specific demographics, have been excluded from knowing the
Mhm.
magic formula to success, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And in that demographic, the way to reach them is through entertainment. It just
Definitely.
is making
Oh
them
man.
laugh, making them sing along, making them remember something from their childhood, things like that,
Mm.
things that are culturally important at that point in time or at certain parts in time in their life. So since I know that, and I want people to rise above their circumstances, right? I don't want them thinking that it's some man up in the clouds over in Buckhead in a high rise that's holding them down over on Bankhead. You got what I'm saying? I don't want them
Absolutely,
thinking that,
absolutely.
right? So for me to be able to reach them, I have to entertain them, right? And the good thing
Definitely.
about it is that being humorous is just me, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
what I'm doing is just I'm actually, as I make them laugh, I'm dropping nuggets. I'm telling
Definitely.
them to get a coach, even if it's funny. I'm like, hey man, hey, you need to get a coach, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
because what I'm doing is I'm planting seeds in their mind, so when they're activated, mentally activated, when they're ready, they're gonna know I need to get a coach, I need to get a mentor, I need to read some specific books, right? Let me look at that podcast that D was on, yada yada yada. You got what I'm saying? So
Right.
they'll go back for it when they're ready, right?
Yes.
Because if you seek out a coach or a mentor before you're ready, you're not gonna get anything out of it. You're gonna be like, man, that stuff doesn't work. But it's not
Man.
that coaching doesn't work, it's that you're not
Wow.
ready.
Wow.
You're not coachable yet. You're
Wow.
not coachable because most of what we do is really in our mind. It's our mindset. It's how we approach it, how we perceive the reality, everything,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So that's the reason why I like to put out the memes, make fun, things like that, and then slip in, okay, here's some investor tip that you can really use, right?
Yes,
And
indeed.
turn something that was supposed to be funny into something where we can have a real intellectual conversation and go dive deeper, right? Because I have your attention now. Same
Man.
thing with like
Wow.
your VAs and you cold calling, right?
Yeah.
Anytime you cold call somebody, guess what? They're not available.
Absolutely.
They're just not available, okay?
Right. Right.
It is up to your cold caller or you as a person who's reaching out to them doing an outbound campaign to spark their interest to make them become available.
Mm.
Okay,
Mm.
it's up to us, right? So what I'm doing with those posts is really sparking their interest to become available to receive some type of knowledge. But some people you got to spoon feed that. You can't
Man.
just you can't just shove it down like a garbage can down their throat.
Right.
They're
Right.
rejected, right? It's too
Right.
much. It's too complicated, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, if we can drop seeds here and there about the formulas of success, okay, what kind of image do you want to bring, right? Do you want to be more Deville, you know what I'm saying? Detroit, right? Or do you want to be a little country boy like me from Tennessee? You know what I'm saying?
Real
Either
stuff.
way, you can still reach the masses and make an impact on the world, right? After you do that, what about your marketing? How are you going to market? Is it going to be inbound or outbound, right? Then how are you going to take somebody that you're marketing to or you're running ads to? How are you going to capture them and turn them in and pull them into your sales funnel organically, naturally, once they're inside of it, right? All these things I'm dropping inside of all my memes. I just drop it one at a time inside something that's humorous. But what I'm really showing people is how to create a sales funnel in their business.
Man,
I make more money not talking about real estate than I do talking about real estate.
I can imagine.
It sounds crazy, right? I make more money in real estate by not talking about it than I actually do talk about it.
Wow.
Because most of it is your mindset.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
The other small 2 to 5% is activities, it's your systems, the processes, it's things like that, right? Because as you know, I see my brother on here. What's up, D? What you notice is that even in your business, 10 to 20% of what you do is going to really determine 80% plus of the outcome.
The outcome, real stuff,
right?
Bruh.
Like I have a ton of VAs, right? But only 5 of them bring in the most deals. 5 of them. 5 of them, right? We just had one brought in 6 deals within a 7-day period. Okay, that's one VA. Okay, she runs circles around some of my other VAs on my team. You got what I'm saying? You got what I'm saying? But we got to focus on that 5 to 10% is going to make that huge difference. So I do that, and I just spoon feed people over and over and over again, and then that's what you see on my page. He goes deeper than just jokes.
Bruh, you listen, and that's the thing in this. I guess it's safe to say you're millennial, right? Probably.
Close to it, yeah. Well, shit, I got a little gray hair somewhere now.
Okay. But see, what you just presented, man, is absolutely phenomenal. And I say that because in this new world that we're in, like I said, I'm a little old school. I'm catching up a little bit. In terms of how we use social media, how we use the platforms that we have, and the way that you mentioned of spoon feeding people and meeting people where they are. And you said something else that was absolutely phenomenal, man. I'm gonna have to repost this again and definitely highlight that. What you said is when you talk about getting the coach, most people, as you mentioned, are not ready for the coach.
No, they're not.
It's from that old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Right.
There you go.
And oftentimes, you probably coach people and I coach people and they say, well, this didn't work. I've had people say this didn't work. I had somebody, had one of my students, my old student, send me an email the other day that said, we didn't get a definite deal. So, they asked for a refund because they didn't get a definite deal. I said, well, did you follow the steps that I gave you? Did you do the things that I asked you to do?
Ooh.
And I'm talking about, I met with them over and over and over again and gave them step by step, the things that they should do. And they still haven't gotten a deal yet. So my question then becomes, is it the information that I share with you? Is that what didn't work? Or is it that you didn't do the work that I told you to do?
Exactly. Most of the time, man, I would tell you, bro, it's that they didn't do the work.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
They didn't do the work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have to, when you are ready and pay somebody to be a coach, you have to ask yourself, am I coachable? Am I willing to do something different than I've been doing? Or am I going to revert to whatever it is that I used to do? If you're in a position where you're saying I'm going to revert to, if you know realistically you're stubborn, you're hard-headed, you're going to revert to whoever or whatever you've been doing, don't get a coach. I'm telling you, I don't care if you get Robert Kiyosaki. There's nothing, it doesn't matter. It's not going to work for you because you are not ready to receive. You're just not. Right? You too bundled up. Right? Also, another thing is never stop learning. Because a lot of my coaching students, they're already successful. You know what I'm saying? They either run businesses or multiple businesses. You know what I'm saying? They may be a little bit new to real estate, or maybe they've done 1 or 2 transactions. Some of them even doing, a lot of money a month, right?
Right.
But one of the things I always try to find out is, are you still willing to learn something new? And then when you are you going to take action? Okay. A lot of people are not willing to learn something new and take consistent action on it, brother. So if you don't do that, it's not going to work.
Definitely. Action. And that's the thing. Taking action is key. You said something else. Continue to learn.
Continue to
20
learn.
some years in the business, I'm still a student,
I'm
right?
still a student too.
Right. You get people that they figure after 6 weeks of coaching, that's all they'll ever need for the rest of their life, right? Now, what you got in that time can be significant in what you do for the rest of your life, but you have to continue to remain a student. That's paramount, man. So definitely appreciate
Oh
you
yeah,
sharing.
you got to, man. And the thing is, I used to think college was expensive, right? But
Yeah.
what I realized is ignorance is more expensive.
Wow.
It's way
Wow.
more expensive,
Wow.
man. Because I pay for people, even if they're even if I'm operating at a high level overall in my business, I still
Mhm.
pay for people that some of them they like, dang, wait, what, you want me to coach you? I said, yeah, because you have a specific talent in a specific area that I don't have that skill in. I,
Man,
I don't I don't have it.
one of my greatest coaches does nothing in real estate.
Hey, that's funny you say that. One of the guys that I get coaching from, he does a little real estate, but he mostly focuses on just coaching people and just bringing out your best. That's
Yeah.
it. It
Yeah.
really deal with more so the mindset.
Right.
And a lot of times, man, a lot of us know what to do. Like
Yeah.
we know we need to go out, get a house at a low enough value that we can either resell it or rent it out or flip the contract or whatever it is to make
Yeah.
a profit. We know what to do.
Right.
You don't have to hire a coach to do that.
Yeah.
What you're hiring a coach to do is show you how to do it.
How to do it. Yeah.
How to do it. And
Yeah.
not spend going through a whole bunch of red tape, wasting a lot of time, making a lot of amateur mistakes unnecessarily
Right.
to get
Right.
to that goal. It really shortens your learning curve. But keep in mind, everybody's learning curve is different. Some
Right.
people, they may get out there and do a deal in 6 weeks. Other people, it may take them 6 or 9 months before they get their first deal. But after they get that first deal, I mean, the floodgates just open,
Definitely.
right? So everybody's different, working at a different level, man. And you just gotta recognize it, and you gotta be like, am I committed to this and stay with it as long as I have to make it work?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
gotta ask yourself that.
And that's the thing. Back to what you said, man. The people that ask about coaching or they invest in coaching, they think they first of all they're looking at it as an expense. They look at it. I gotta
Man,
spend
goodness,
money.
please say that again.
Right.
Please say that again, brother. Oh my God.
I gotta spend this money. Oh, it costs this much. Not realizing that you're investing in something that could be life changing for you. So, and many times they look at the amount versus the value, the cost versus the value. I say this all the time. Like you look at what it costs you in money and in time. However, you don't realize the value of what's being offered to you for the money that you're investing and the time that's spent with you. That value is, I mean, some of it is invaluable. Like
it's invaluable. It's priceless.
You mentioned, I do pay coaches that are not on my level. I pay some that don't do what I do. And I'm talking about, I paid somebody, maybe a couple $1,000 just to tweak one simple area in my business. And I'm talking about as a result of that small investment, $2,000, we'll call it small. As a result of that small investment, it's multiplied time and time and time again. And guess how often I get to use it?
Woo! You get to multiply over. Let me tell you
multiply it over and over again.
Let me tell you a funny story about a guy, right? Now this one here was an exchange, versus just I pay him and then kind of go from there, right? So in your business, one of the things you want to look at is obviously data, right? And understanding your data, right? So I'm catching the Uber ride because one of my trucks had broke down and I'm stuck and I need a ride. So get on the app called Uber. The guy takes me back to the crib. So I'm talking to the guy. He's actually from corporate America, got a degree, everything. So obviously I'm interested in why you driving for Uber, right?
Yeah.
He does it part-time to make extra money because he wanted the freedom to be an entrepreneur. So yeah, he makes less money, but he still makes 6 figures. Okay.
Right.
Now this guy is a data analyst.
Wow.
Yes. So we literally went over data analytics, prescriptive, descriptive analytics in the vehicle on an Uber ride. I gave this dude the fattest tip. My credit card company said, "Hey, You should.
Did you make a mistake?
Yeah, did you make a mistake? Now, in that
Right.
situation there, I taught him about real estate. So the exchange was really just he wanted to learn more about real estate, and specifically one of the things obviously me and you do is wholesaling, right? Even though we do a lot of other things, but
Right.
wholesaling specifically on the exit strategy and the acquisition strategy.
Mhm.
And I was interested in his information on data analytics. And guess what? After that conversation, we went out and did a deal and made a nice ass check just off having that conversation on the Uber ride, man.
Wow.
On the Uber ride. That's
Wow.
how important it is to never stop learning. To never stop learning, man.
And we'll call it 30 minutes, 45 minutes on that
Yeah,
Uber.
yeah, that's it.
And just think about it. And this is where folks
That
got
tweak.
to get over that cost versus value situation. In that 30 to 45 minutes, we'll call it, that's some data analytics that you learn that you can use for the rest of however long you do business.
For the rest of my life.
Right.
I can even literally sell what me and him talked about to somebody else for thousands of dollars. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's how valuable this Uber driver, our conversation was. And most people, they'll look at certain people and be like, I can't learn nothing from him.
Man.
I can't learn nothing from her.
Listen, my new trainer.
And they stop learning.
My new trainer is about to be a guy who I met on an Uber ride.
Oh.
Listen, I'm preparing myself for him now because he's ready to
You're
go.
speaking into an existence.
He's ready to go. Like I ain't ready for him yet. But like you said, when the student is ready, the student to reach out to the teacher for real.
Oh yeah, man. You know what? I stay ready.
Definitely,
Stay ready,
definitely.
man. I stay ready. I'm willing to learn. I'm like a sponge trying to soak it up, and I'm also just trying to help people out, man. Because what I've noticed, because when I was younger, I thought I wanted to get into real estate or become an investor, a business owner, or whatever, because I wanted the money. But the thing is, once you get a certain amount of money, that it's excitement at first, but after a while, you still have that void, and you realize the money wasn't your purpose.
Wow.
It wasn't your purpose. It wasn't the money. And I never got that when people who are rich say it's not about the money. It's not about the money. Right? Because at the end of the day, it is levels. Obviously, you need a certain amount of money to live off of, to go on vacation, take care of your family, right? But after you reach that level, it begins to get to the point of what's your real deep down why of what you're really doing, and what is it, and then are you operating in your purpose? And when you start operating in your purpose, and most of our purposes is really tied to us serving other people.
Man, bro, you better come on in with that. Listen, really, let me tell you how, and I call it prophetic you being right now.
Yeah.
So a gentleman posted something earlier today. Shout out to Nelson Stokes. Nelson Stokes.
Oh, what's up, Nelson?
He reached
That's my brother right there.
Yeah, real good dude. Reached out to me a couple years ago. He said, I need some help. And, we talked over the phone a couple of times, and I gave him some information and different things that he needed to do to get himself, ready to do business. And then invited him out to one of the events that I was hosting, some years ago. Okay. And he put a post up today, saying thanks. He was grateful for that opportunity, this, that, and the other. And I replied to him that, it was an opportunity for me to be able to serve. And even at the level that I am, it's humbling to still be able to serve people. And I said, of course, the word of God says, he that is the greatest among you, allow him to serve all. Yes. And what you said about being of service, that's what even doing this podcast for me, man, is about being able to serve. I had several people say to me, what happened to the podcast? You haven't done it in a while. I mean, I actually had to work. I've been doing some work. So, traveling and doing so many other things, I hadn't had time to do it. But I realized this was a void for some people, right? I mean, it was a void for me. I mean, honestly, this is for me as much as it is probably for some other people, because I get an opportunity to have conversations with people like yourself who are very smart and very good at what they do. So it's an opportunity for me, but I realized for some people who are still growing and still learning as much as they want to learn, I want to be a outlet. I want this show to be an outlet for them, a resource for them to be able to get some of the information that they might not get otherwise. So, like you said, it's about service, man.
It's about
Real
serving,
stuff.
man. It's
Real
about
stuff.
most definitely serving. It's about most definitely serving, man. It's a wonderful thing, man. Um, you know, another thing is since we dropping nuggets on outside of just $25,000. Yeah, that's right.
30 minutes
Yeah,
knowledge.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. But the thing is, I paid a guy a couple of $1,000s. I went to it was like a 2-day event up in North Carolina, man, and we talked about creative financing.
Hmm.
Okay, Tony Robbins, um, yeah, Tony Robbins in North Carolina, and I may be getting his last name mixed up or whatever. Forgive me, Uncle Tony, but this guy changed my life in the first 5 minutes. Had I
Yeah,
walked out in 5 minutes, it was worth the $1,000 or $2,000 I spent
real
at that
stuff.
event. It
Real
was
stuff.
worth it, right? Because in that first 5 minutes, he unlocked something inside my brain that has allowed me literally to build a business out of it. Really,
Mm,
in the
mm.
first 5 minutes. Keep in mind, it's a 2-day event, right?
Yeah, yeah,
And most of what we do, obviously, we do wholesaling, we do fix and flip. We doing what we're doing here. I'm on the job site. That's why I'm in the car right now.
yeah.
Um, but a huge part of what we do is creative financing,
Right,
and
right.
that first 5 minutes, it changed my life, man. So yeah, most definitely, 25,000 30 minutes. Yeah, if you can just drop one thing that's gonna be a game changer for my team and myself, it's worth it.
Definitely.
It's worth
Definitely.
it. Cause somebody like you and me, we're gonna take that thing past the
Yeah,
moon.
listen, all and keep it look, hey. Run a
It ain't
test
a
out
game,
with
man.
it
We're
and
gonna
do the
hey,
dance
it's
at
out of
the
here.
end.
Yeah. And it's been a huge blessing, man. It's been a huge blessing, man. I think that was like 2 or 3 years ago at this point now.
Mm, wow.
So yeah,
So
it's
let's
worth
get
it.
into this, man. I read a part of your bio. It says that you were a home inspector turned real estate
Hmm.
investor.
Okay,
Tell the people about this transition, and then we'll get into what the 3 F's are. We might have touched on it already.
we kind
Um,
of touched on it a little bit. Yeah, we kind of we get so much other juicy
right,
stuff.
right,
We
right. Yeah,
we kind
yeah.
of just
We'll
like,
get
all right,
there.
these are the 3 L's. Yeah. Give back
We'll,
the other
we'll,
stuff.
we'll talk about it. But tell me,
Yeah.
what was that transition like? You were a home inspector, and then you decided
Mhm.
to become an investor. What was that like?
Um, I got into it. Well, actually, before I was a home inspector, right? I was a student at Georgia Tech, and I went for chemical engineering.
Oh,
And I
wow.
worked at a nuclear power plant, and I realized I hated it. Not
Wow.
because the people, it wasn't that they didn't pay or my boss was horrible. I thought the people there was great. They were loving people. They want to see me win. Even though I was the only chocolate drop in there, you got what I'm saying? It was They were great, you know.
Uh-huh.
But I just knew I wasn't supposed to be there, man.
Mm.
And then from there, um, I ended up starting a small business where I would help people that moved to Atlanta locate apartments for them.
Mm.
Okay,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And then from that business, there I didn't know it was seasonal. I didn't know real estate was seasonal in
Right.
the real estate market. Right? I didn't know Atlanta get flooded with people in the summertime getting ready for the fall and spring. Then fall and spring because I really catered to students, and fall and
Okay.
spring they're not really looking for housing, right? So I really catered to them.
Mm-hmm.
So, but what happened was I was able to buy a house when I was in my early 20s, right?
Mm.
And the guy that came to inspect the house charged me $350 for a home inspection. And back then, that was a lot of money, right? You're talking about almost 20 years ago. You got what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And the guy was, no disrespect, but he was about dumb as a box of rocks. And
That's not
I was
disrespectful.
like, I can do that. I can do that. So
Right.
I signed up for a course. I went to New Orleans. I stayed in New Orleans till I finished the course because you can either go in class or you can do the course online.
Mm.
I was like, I can probably knock this shit out in no
Right.
time, right? So I went, knocked the course out in a week, took the test, and got like a 90-some%, like 98 or something like that. And then
Wow.
after that, I became a home inspector. So I was doing that for a while, linked up with some people that were investors, got into doing the investments. One of them went horrible. I'm telling you, because I went from home inspector to actually being the contractor, ended up being horrible on that first experience, but it was a great learning experience, right? Great learning experience, right?
Yeah.
Because what happened is we had a budget, and then the guy was like, okay, let's drop the budget a little bit lower because this other guy said he can do it for lower. Another nugget is if somebody has another lower budget, let them go with that guy.
Right.
Don't let that guy be you, because at the end of the day, it's gonna be your fault. So
Right,
it was my fault because I was like, yeah, let me do that. So what I ended up doing was I got some guys who said they can do the work for cheaper. I didn't know it was Uncle Johnny and and cousin Tito.
Cousin Calvin.
Yeah, you pay them in like beer and ham sandwiches. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So anyway, so we got to the other side of that. But in that process, we had a conversation about investing. Okay, because I always wanted to get back into investing, because after that first business, I bought the house. I ended up getting a second house when I was in my early 20s, and I really wanted to become a full-time investor. But I was like, I didn't know how I could do it. So one of the guys taught me was that how he was getting the properties is that he was leveraging other people's money, right? So they would fund it. They were kind of like the hard money lender essentially, and they would go in. He would find the properties, and then hire whatever crews he need to fix it, flip it, and they'll kind of split the profit down the middle. Once he taught me that one thing, OPM, right? Other people's money. Other people's mistakes, other people's whatever you want to use the M for, whatever you can learn from, right?
Right.
It was a game changer. So what I did was I jumped from being a home inspector. Fast forward, I think we'll end up being a contractor for a while first, then end up becoming a full-time investor. When I reached out to a couple of people, I was like, hey man, y'all want to go in together? And we went in together. At that time, we had bought off the MLS. We didn't do this off-market wholesaling thing now, right? We bought the MLS, learned some valuable lesson, and then from there, one of the properties we ended up wholesaling, because we actually bought it, but we actually made money by turning around and just wholesaling to another investor. And once we did that one deal, I was like, oh my goodness.
Right.
What is this thing called wholesaling? And then that's when I dove into wholesaling first, right? After doing a fix and flip, I dove into wholesaling real hard. And then from there, we end up coming up with implementing creative financing in it. And now we do a mixture of wholesaling, creative financing, and we actually fix and flip our creative finance deals, some of them, and then sell them on the market. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just been this steady progression of starting a business, becoming a home inspector, meeting home inspectors, meeting other investors, really having conversations with them, learning. Again, it goes back to what we were saying earlier, was really just learning from other people, that valuable information, that priceless information, right? You can't really put a price on it. And then just taking it up a notch, every notch. Right. Now we get properties a lot of times, we just use our credit card. You don't even really need to use OPM money as far as like an individual a lot of times. As long as you fix that credit, hey man, Amex, Chase, what's up, baby?
Right. Get it done. Look, hey, get it done. Cash out and close.
Oh yeah, cash out, close, man. So yeah, so it was a blessing, man. It's just been a steady progression to get to this point. So and it's been great. It's been crazy roller coasters like with anything, but it's lovely. Most definitely blessed.
So what's a day in the life like for you, man? When you're not posting funny stuff on Facebook, what you doing, man?
All right, so yeah. So I'm glad you brought that up, because one of the things that people really need to do is really get into their flow, right? They really need to get into a flow of what they do. And the flow I do recommend is learning how to use Google Calendar, okay, or any type of calendar to set your schedule. And you really want to get to the point where it's repetitive, like you do the same thing every single day at a certain time. Work out, take calls, meetings, everything like that. Because what's going to happen is you're going to realize that every time somebody messages you, hey, call me, or somebody emails you, you jump to the email. I'm telling you, you'll become so inefficient. You won't get anything done.
Right.
Like I'm pretty sure I got about 10, 15 people like, hey, give me a call. Hey, call me. Hey, I'm gonna call you in a little bit. And I'm like, I got to schedule you in. And the first time people hear that, they get like, what? Oh, you big time? I'm like, nah, man, I'm just busy. You know what I'm saying? I'm just busy.
I'll ask you about that. How do you handle that? Because I'm kind of I'm there now. And many people call me. It's to the point. And listen, this is where you can help me out. Let me know if I need to send you an invoice. But yeah. Coach me here, brother. Coach me here. How do you handle And I guess it got to a point. Now, some of the people are common with you, so they have a relationship with you. So they figure it's just a random. I can pick up the phone and call you. And I've gotten to the point where it's almost, some people are gonna watch this. I know I'm gonna hear about it.
Oh, you're gonna hear about it, baby. You're gonna hear about it.
Like,
you're gonna hear about it.
Like, how you figure you could just randomly call me, especially even sometimes, even on a Wednesday when I'm doing this show? How you figure you could randomly call me like I ain't got nothing else to do? How do you handle that, bro? How do we work through stuff like that?
Honestly, I don't answer the call if it's not scheduled. Now, my mama calls something like that. Hey, mama, I try to get to it, but if you ask her, she's like, you never answer my calls. I'm like, mama, you busy. But if I see a call and I'm right there, I'm like, hey, baby, what's up? You know what I'm saying? Right. Most of the time, you got to schedule a call. Not unless we already have something we already know around that time we're supposed to do something, we're supposed to link up or something like that, because generally I'm busy. And most people think busy for us mean we're always actively doing something. Sometimes you and I just need time to think.
Man. Somebody told me that we need to normalize taking a nap throughout the day.
Oh my goodness, bro.
I said,
yes.
I ain't got time to take no nap. But you know what I've done? I'm going to keep it 100. For the last 2 days, I'm actually taking a nap. And I'm like, after I wake up, I'm like, okay, it's on again. And I'm much more productive after that 30 or 45 minute, sometimes an hour.
Yeah.
I'm much more productive than I would have been had I tried to stay awake and struggle throughout the day.
Yes, I noticed it. I tried that, man, and it works. It's just sometimes I get so busy because we got so much stuff going on a lot of times. But yeah, most definitely. And really it goes back, if people look up like theta brain waves and things like that, frequencies and things like that, let's look at that word theta. What's going to happen is when you wake up, it's really right before you go to bed. I'm talking about late at night, right? You get that groggery. I'm like, I really just need to lay down.
Yeah.
Right in that space, and right when you first wake up, okay? Especially when you first wake up after a nap, you're gonna have so much, your mind is gonna be so open that you can just be in like the zone really quickly and get so much done. And it's just really a natural state of how our body works, our body chemistry is to allow us to do that. So that's the reason why they say take a nap. If you can try to fit that in your schedule. I know a lot of people work that 9 to 5, but for us, as entrepreneurs, we have a little bit more flexibility sometimes. But yeah, when I can, most definitely, I take a nap. We have a 2:00 meeting every day, Tuesday through Saturday with my whole team on the wholesaling side of things, right? And when I take a nap before the meeting, whoo, dude, I'm on fire.
I know.
I'm on fire, brother. Yeah. I'm on fire.
Okay, so I just want to make sure, for my wife, if she watches this, when you hear me snoring in my office, I'm not out of line. I'm actually doing what I'm supposed to do.
I highly recommend it, brother. I seriously do. If you can take a nap in the middle of the day, I'm telling you, you'll come off. Also, another time is like late at night. Sometimes if you doze off for like 15 to 30 minutes, set alarm. Not one of them crazy alarms like we did when we was little, the little brown alarm clock on the side of the bed, but one of those alarms on your phone, right? And then wake up and start writing. Start writing, just write. Whatever, no matter how crazy it is, just start writing. Do that for a few nights, watch what happens. Let's do it for 7 days. Watch what happens. Watch what comes out of your mind.
Wow.
Man, I'm telling you, it's mind-blowing.
Wow.
It's mind-blowing. Yeah. It's just where your body is right when you wake up. It's crazy.
Real stuff, man. Dropping some true gems, man. So I can't wait to get into now the 3 F's, man. You got to tell me this is what this is about, and I have to make sure I share some of the things that he was talking about. Normalizing taking a nap, having your systems in place. These are things that as entrepreneurs should be the major things that we focus on from the very beginning. Now, for me, it was a struggle. Like I mentioned, taking a nap throughout the day was not something that I ever thought I would have or be able to do, because, I'm accustomed to what many entrepreneurs have said for the longest. You got to grind. You got to be on the grind. You got to be doing this and doing that, But I realized one of the things that one of my coaches mentioned to me is that just because you're busy doesn't mean you're doing business, right? Your busyness doesn't mean that you're doing business. And I had to understand the difference in that, the busyness and the business, right? Because most of the time we get into this flow of doing things and just to be doing things and to say that we're busy, right? So we're busy doing things, but we're not busy being productive. And that's one of the things that I had to wrap my mind around. You know, one guy mentioned to me, he said, why do you think most CEOs have couches in their office? He said, because they go over to their couch and take a nap throughout the day. And I'm like, how do they got time? How do they have time to take a nap? You know, but I realized in those last couple of days that I tried that my productivity was heightened after taking just a small break during the day. And I was more productive. My day lasted a little bit longer. I got more things accomplished. And it just one of those things as an entrepreneur, we are not always mindful of until, of course, we learn it. And that's why, as an entrepreneur, we should always be learning, always be learning. You know, hopefully we'll have Mr. Dee Stevens come back on and join us. I know he mentioned something that was happening with his phone, so he might have lost his lost power to his phone. So hopefully we can get him to come back on. Because he was giving us some major nuggets, and I definitely want to get out of him what the 3 F's are, so we can share that with you as well. So I want to give you all an opportunity for those that are joining us to go ahead and, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the comment box, and definitely share with us what your thoughts are. I'd like to also hear from some of you that may watch this now or watch on the replay. What are some of the things, what are some of the benefits that you've gotten from tuning into the show? Either if you're watching for the first time or you've watched over time, what are some of the things that you've been able to learn from watching the show? Or what are some of the benefits, things that you've gotten that you've been able to share with others, or that have you implemented into what you're doing? We want to know, I want to know personally, how this is contributing to your growth. And always give us a feedback. What else do you think we could be doing or I should be doing to help you get to the next level in your business, or help you get started in your business? How can we help? How can I help you help in contributing in those areas? So certainly, definitely, DM me or send me a DM, or follow me, you know, on Instagram, whatever the case may be, at Mr. Dollar Out of a Dime, or at Real Life Real Estate Investing. If you're not already following us, send me a message and let me know how we could potentially be a help to your business growth. Of course, I offer coaching, I offer consulting and different things like that. We have a few different programs that we offer, but I want to know specifically from those of you that are watching or that will watch, what can we do to help you get to the next level? Because again, for me, this is about serving. This is a free show. I don't get paid anything for doing this show, but what I do get, I guess, get paid, if you will, is not of monetary value. It's of growth value. I grow as I help you grow. I heard Jim Rohn said, continue to share your story, or share the information that you learn, because you might learn it once, and you might, when you teach it to 10 people, 10 people will pour back into you. So I've learned that sharing this information gets it to come back to me, even if it's just in the feedback of saying good job or thank you for sharing that. You know, that is inspirational to me to help continue to do this show. We want to see if he can come back on and give us those 3 F's. But again, listen, if he doesn't make it back, he's given us enough information for us to be able to go on and get things started and get things implemented in what we got going on. But nevertheless, what we will do is we will make sure we have him come back on if he's not, or at a later date if he's not able to make it back on today. I do have something that I want to share with you all. I want to, let me make sure I do this right. I want to give, for those of you that are tuning in, even on the replay, I'll put the link in the comments. I want to share with you all our my ebook. wholesaling, building your business and wholesaling. I want to share that book with you. It actually is selling on my site for $14.99, but for those of you that tune into the show, we will be giving it to you for free. And thank you all for joining me on the show today. Please forgive me for the technical difficulties, but we will have Mr. Dee Stevens back on, possibly within the next couple of weeks. So again, this has been the Real Life Real Estate Investing Show, where we talk about real life real estate situations, but we bring you real life real estate solutions. Thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you real soon.